There's a lot of wind here. Oof. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's Chrome. We're back with another video. I want to say this video is, I want to just title it "Be Kind." I'm kind of two minds here. Make it a video of being kind to yourself and being kind to others despite when they're not being kind. But we're going to throw those two concepts into just one video, right? Be kind, be kind to yourself, even when it feels like there aren't any reasons to be. We're going to start with that one. It can be a tough time. Whatever it is you're going through, you can feel like you're not enough. You can feel like there's really no point. You could feel like, that you're not doing enough. Maybe there's something in the puzzle, a piece of the puzzle that you feel that you don't have. And maybe you look at yourself and be like, I'm not where I want to be. Maybe you have that mindset, and then you're seeing others who are where you want to be, or you're seeing others who aren't where you want to be, and you want to get away from that, but you feel like you're trapped. And I know what that feels like. I mean, I've got a few friends, like really tight knit friends, being my twin brother, my best friends, three of those guys, and we're all just trying to figure out a way to make it. And we feel trapped by our responsibilities. And when I say responsibilities, I mean around families and stuff. And a lot of the time, family can be the thing that holds you back. Sometimes the people closest to you, they don't really get what it is you're trying to do. And they're going through their own demons, you're facing yours. But them, for some reason, it's almost like they give special treatment to other people, but when it comes to you trying to achieve your dreams, whether it be intentional or not, it feels like a sabotage on you. It feels like a sabotage to the fact that your greatness is beginning to show, that your greatness will propel you to new heights that make other people afraid on the low. And I know what that's like. I've got friends that know what that's like. And honestly, you know what they say when it's like when you have haters, like you're not doing something right if you don't have haters. I'm not saying like I'm glorifying that idea. I think haters are corny. I just think that they're not open-minded, or just in general, just open to what it is that you could possibly offer everyone and yourself, more importantly, on a grand scale. And it probably reminds them of their failures, and it reminds them of who they've always wanted to be, but they believe they can't be it. So it's like they're going to question you. They'll find some way to tear at you. And then there's just situations where you're just sitting by yourself and that affects you. Or you might already think that you're not enough, and you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see. And I believe that if there are flaws that you can work on them. But at the same time, accept that you do have flaws, so that way it could be easier to live with them. Because I think it's arrogant to be told that you have flaws and then you know it, and the other person or someone or a situation brings that reality, that fact to you, and you deliberately ignore it. I think that's extremely arrogant, and that's a disservice to ourselves and who we are and what it is that we say that we stand for. Just be kinder to yourself. Like I always say in my videos, take it one day at a time, one step at a time. Figure out who you are, figure out what you like. Who are you when you're not clouded with all the noise and the echo chambers and the as I've heard it described, hyperbolic positive or exaggerated positive, which is people sucking up to you for some form of gain, that advantage that they could have over you, or having you in their corner, or when it's just straight up nonsense, not like exaggerated negativity, where you're not as bad as they want to say that you are. And that can be a tough dragon to fight. I know what it's like to beat myself up. I still kind of do it. I still kind of do it. I'm not proud of it. I've been doing it considerably less in my life, but over the last few years especially, but my entire life leading up until a few weeks ago to like a month ago, I really just was beating myself up, and I'm thinking, "Ooh, I'm not enough," and I want to measure up to my big brother, even though he's just as flawed as I am. No disrespect to him, I love him. Like, he's still a role model to me, and he's failed a lot. But it's weird because that illusion breaking, that fact was like, "Oh no, he's flawed, dude." Like, but you can learn from it. That's how I took it. I took it as, "Oh, then I love him even more," because that just shows me that he's human. I admire. Look, basically, stop trying so hard to be Superman in a world where people won't even appreciate Superman or Clark Kent. Just be your own hero. Be kind to yourself, and when you're kind to yourself, it opens up into the next thing that I want to tell you, which is being kind to others. It's easier to be kind to others when you have standards and boundaries for yourself, that is a way of being kind to yourself. That is a way of it is a form of self-worth. Having boundaries, I'm not saying unrealistic standards either. I've heard a fella, a life coach named Matthew Hussey, describe it as having standards and having tactics in terms of trying to attract people or repel people. At least that's what I got from it. Yeah, he said having tactics and having standards. You don't want unrealistic standards because it's not real. It's an illusion that's likely fed to you from either the media or who's just yapping in your ear, or some sense of self-entitlement. And I feel like we're not owed anything. We're just not. And that is a way of being kind to yourself, just realizing you're not owed anything. But you do deserve kindness, especially when you're being a good person. We all deserve kindness, you know. Not everyone does, but if you're a good person, you try to keep it pushing, and you're generous and it's genuine, and you try to give everything you got into what you do, and you just mind your business, you stay to your clique, and you trying to be positive, you're good. Be kind to yourself and treat yourself right. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I'm about to go to the mall with some friends in the next week, and I'm going to treat myself, but I'm also going to treat them at the same time, and we're going to really have some important conversations about life and where we want to go in our future, and how do we advance past the distractions and the people that are holding us back. And this leads to my next topic, as I was meaning to say, be kind to others even in spite of hate being thrown at you, because it takes a lot of energy. I have the 5-minute philosophy. This is not what I'm calling it. It even sounds a little pretentious, but it's like basically a 5-minute rule for sake of argument, right? So just bear with me here. If this is not your thing, just think of it as a hypothetical, okay? Like, just stay with me. So say if you're you're doing something, right? And it could be anything. And then all of a sudden an argument pops off between you and another human being. And you could do two things. Ignore it and walk away, or feed into the negativity. And I believe that in those 5 minutes, because it's a short period of time, but it's also long enough to where time's passed. You could, like, for example, if you decide to feed into that bull for 5 minutes, it can go into 30 minutes, an hour, 10 hours, however long. And then in those 5 minutes, your brain is blind to the opportunity of a lifetime. God or the universe or just this positive force out there could be sending an opportunity your way that pertains to you in a way that can make your life better. But you've missed it by a hair. You've missed that opportunity because you were focused on the unnecessary things in life, And I mean the petty arguments, and when there's no talking, there's yelling and lack of communication or proper communication. You could be blind to the moment of a lifetime. But if you just stayed focused and ignored that person, or removed yourself from a situation, maybe in those 5 minutes, God could have, that opportunity that was meant for you, you could be open to it. And then you'll be able to hop on it and change your life. But see, this could apply to every minute, every second in time. As time flows right now, it's about just taking advantage of opportunities when they're there. And in that argument or whatever negative situation, take the opportunity to just be like, you know what? I feel this way right now. I want to really acknowledge how horrible you might feel, but don't act on it. Don't act on impulse. Because one, you're not being kind to yourself because you allowed the worst version of yourself to come out, and that's not who you're trying to be, you know? But at the same time, take it as an opportunity to be like, okay, maybe I don't understand you right now, but then you can come back to that person when the argument's done or when everything cools off, and then you take that time to be compassionate. But okay, I need to see this from all perspectives so I can see what the situation really is. From what is my reality, what is their reality, so I can get the bigger picture of the ultimate reality, of the reality of what is truly going on. Take the time out to be kind to someone else, because you never know where that may take you, even when it hurts to be kind. That's how I am. I've always lived by, just because you disrespect me, I'm not going to be disrespectful to you. And that may seem weak, but honestly, I think it's the opposite. I think it's the sign of strength, the ultimate strength, to not allow someone to bring me into a situation where I feel I must come out of character. You see how I worded it? I'm not going to say make me come out of character, because no one can make me do anything. As long as I'm in the moment and I'm conscious of my reaction, I feel, ooh, wait a minute, I'm about to react. Don't react. Observe and then respond by the time I fully processed everything. And then come back to them. Say, I don't really like the way that made me feel. And, I just wanted to come along and, say, I'm sorry if you felt like your point, just try to understand them. And you never know. And if they're not kind back, when you try to come to them calmly and approach them with compassion, just be like, okay. And understand that they're not ready. But you took the time to be kind to others in spite of hate. Don't allow their hate, their energy to knock you off yours. Don't allow their negative energy to taint your positive energy. Don't let who they are have their power take control of who you are, because at the end of the day, I feel like we all have our own power, our own light, our own thing. Don't let anyone dim your light. Don't do it, because you will end up just like them. And at the end of the day, you want to know what sucks about all of it? Everyone loses. You know what sucks about that? When you feed into that, in a lot of ways, it gives them justification, especially when y'all will be fighting for so long, probably. Y'all don't even remember why y'all fight anymore. That's why we got gangs and stuff like that, in my personal opinion. It might have started off as something positive, but then people just hate each other. And now it's just a cycle of hate that trickles down to the point where it's generations upon generations of trauma and hate. And then people are fighting for so long, they don't remember why they're fighting no more. And that scares me. And that that sickens me. And that I feel some sort of way about that. I genuinely freaking do. Because I'm like, yo, I understand not every situation, not every environment promotes that. And that's why I want to promote that on this channel. The 4 words, I don't know if y'all notice in my hashtags in the description, or even in my description in the just my description on my about page. My 4 main words are love, joy, peace, and positivity. That's all I try to promote in my life, because we have our bad days, but I try to remember those words. And legacy is another one. I try to remember those 5 words, because that's what I want to live by. That's what I want to impart on to my future children. And hopefully they can impart that onto their children, and so on and so forth. And even just the community that I build, and to my team and my family and the people that I care about. I want to inspire. And in order to do that, I have to be compassionate. I have to see where you're coming from. I got to be kind to you. And in order to be kind to you, I got to be kind to while I'm doing that, let me be kind to myself too. Because I love being kind to people, but it could be very hard to be kind to myself. That is a very difficult thing to deal with. And it's scary, because being kind to people, you believe that, let me just not be kind to them because I don't want them to see my kindness as weakness. And that's why you got to be careful. You observe. You simply observe before you jump at someone. As far as I've seen in relationships, I've had my little crushes. I've never been in a relationship. And there's probably a reason for it. I think my reason for it is because I need to observe. I think I'm being saved for the right lady. I hope so. Um, and I hope that the right lady's being saved from me. And I hope that when I eventually run into her, me and her are one of a very similar mindset and a philosophy and a way of life. And I want all of any relationship I have to promote that ideology. Is love, joy, peace, and positivity, and focus on what will you leave behind when you're alive and when you're gone. So that way people have something to look to. And if just even if you died tomorrow, what's your legacy gonna be? What's your legacy gonna be? That's my question for the end of this. What's your legacy gonna be? You know, because that's important. We get so wrapped up in our lives, and do we want to be known as that workaholic who worked ourselves to death, or we gotta figure out a smarter way to do this? Be kinder to ourselves, not grind ourselves into the ground with this culture that social media has cultivated, where people are saying work yourself into the ground. You need your time to rest. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because when you're kinder to yourself, it really helps you understand others. Weirdly enough, I've always been kind to people, but I was always in it to be kind to people genuinely, but it was also to get approval. It was always tainted with ego and insecurity, but I needed to adapt. I was insecure around my best friend. I was jealous of him. I was jealous of my twin brother whenever he got an accomplishment and I wasn't in the spotlight in front of my mom. But I had to learn. I learned, and no one taught me this. I learned this on my own, that I need to be more around these people. They're not the reason for it. I am. I take full responsibility for it. I was a kid. I was 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. But I just had to learn. I learned that young that I don't like the way I feel around these people. These are people I want to keep lifelong connections with. So I need to grow. I need to change. I need to become more for these people. Become more for myself. Become more for myself, so that way when I walk in the room, I don't have to try and be more. I am. I am enough. And for the first time at 21 years old, I realized that. But I started the spiritual journey at 18 because I was tired of being mediocre and being the same, and I know I needed to change. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Just try your best. It's hard. I'm not trying to preach some freaking gimmicky, overly, unrealistically optimistic way of living. It's a work in progress. That's why I always say in my videos, this is our thing. One day at a time, one step at a time. I don't say it in the reverse way, because you'll be thinking you'll be left with a day at a time. No, one day at a time. Then break that day down into smaller steps. And you do it by figuring yourself out. You take your time. You get in the mental gym and work out your problems. If you need to go to therapy, do that. If you need to talk to someone that you can trust and say, okay, what are my flaws? Is there something that you noticed about me? What is it? Have you seen me not be kind to myself? You need people, because if you can't, because you'll always let yourself off the hook. For me, I'm like that. I'll let myself off the hook when I do something stupid. I have friends that hold me accountable, because even when I don't like it, I ask them. And second, they're my friends. They're real. They're not gonna let me do nothing stupid, and if I do, that's on me. And I feel bad because they want me. And they keep me in line. I keep myself in line because I know they will, and I'd rather them not do it, even though I asked them to. So let me be right. Let me treat myself right. Because when I'm treating myself right, no one else has to worry about me. And everyone should live like that, to be like that for each other. Be kind to yourself so that you could feel better. And then that way other people around you could feel better. And it all starts from being kind to yourself. Being kind to other people in spite of whatever it is they throw at you. Just have a heart. Even when that heart is hurt, and if that heart hurts too much, remove yourself when you don't need to be in that situation. You hear me? You awesome, lovable, freaking person. Because you're tough, you're strong, but we're not strong to be doormats. That's not what I'm preaching. I'm preaching do your best, and when it seems like that doesn't work, they're not ready for you, remove yourself until they are ready. And if they're never ready, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is making sure that you're okay. But I'm just saying, watch what happens when you take care of yourself for real, and I'm learning this. So you're not alone. I'm not looking down on you. I'm with you. I'm an average guy like but I'm with y'all. But when you take care of yourself, you'll see how many people look at you as the shining example, like, yo, you're glowing. You look, wow. And then they have two choices. Be on your level, because you have to set boundaries for yourself. That's another way of being kind to yourself. Don't set boundaries. Whatever it is you'll tolerate and you don't want any triggers, let it be known. And if they won't respect it, cut them off. Remove yourself. We're not about letting people walk on us. We're about giving what we can, but leaving enough to where we look out for ourselves first, and then when we can give, we give. But if you're not ready to be given something, we're not going to spit, curse your name or anything. Even when you curse my name, you're not cursing. Okay, I'm not cursing you. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to pray for you, and then I'm going to walk the other way. Because I can't allow myself to hold on to hate. I can't. I know what it's like to hold a grudge and be jealous. It's disgusting. It's almost like I'm being possessed. That's not me. So let me not be that and work on it. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Just be kind. And take it one day, one step at a time, okay? I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful night. And I pray that your day is going by right. And if so, look for it to kick more butt tomorrow. And if not, your day's not fine, let me know why.